Hey guys, today we're going to solve some equations and inequalities involving fractions. Um, we're going to start with actually number 4, which is an equation. So with rational equations, the easiest way to solve it is to cancel out the denominators. So we're going to multiply all, not just the ones with fractions, but all terms by the least common denominator. So to find the least common denominator, we should factor the denominator. So this is the difference of two squares, which is x minus 5 and x plus 5. And this denominator, of course, is x plus 5, and this denominator is a 1. So let's multiply everything by the common denominator, which is basically 1 of everything. So we'll multiply by x minus 5 and x plus 5. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by x minus 5 and x plus 5. The second fraction by x minus 5, x plus 5. And then finally the 1 by x minus 5, x plus 5. So in math, you're allowed to do this. Check out why. We know that 1/5 plus 4/5 is equal to 1. If I wanted to multiply everything by 5, it should still give me a truthful equation, as long as I multiply everything by the same value. 5's cancel, leaving you with a 1. 5's cancel, leaving you with a 4. And 1 times 5 is 5. Yes, this is a truthful equation. Same thing here. If we multiply everything by x minus 5 and x plus 5, we're allowed to do that. So the x plus 5's cancel, leaving me with 2 times x minus 5. Now I would not distribute this 2 in here yet. When you have a subtraction problem, which you'll have on the homework, you got to be very careful. Make sure you distribute the minus sign, if this was a minus sign, into the parentheses with the number. In this question, x minus 5 and x plus 5 will cancel, leaving me with a plus 20. Nothing cancels here, leaving me with an x minus 5, excuse me, and an x plus 5. Now, before I combine like terms, I should try to simplify each side. So I'm going to distribute this 2. This is 2x minus 10 plus 20. I'm going to double distribute here, which is x squared minus 25. And then whenever you have an x squared, you should get everything on one side of the equal sign, and the other side should be a 0. But actually, first, let's continue to simplify this side. You can combine those at the 10. But as I was just mentioning, let's move everything to the right side of the equal sign, leaving a 0 on the left side. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 25. And then we'll ask ourselves, what numbers multiply? Oh, actually, whoops. I did not subtract 10 from this side. This is minus 35. So again, the question is, what numbers multiply to negative 35 and add up to negative 2? What about negative 7 and 5? When we set each of these factors equal to 0, we get 7 and also negative 5. Now before we circle these answers, let's double check and make sure of a couple things. If we plug 7 in for all the x's, both sides should be equal. Same thing with negative 5. But also, we want to make sure that neither of these potential solutions are extraneous, which means creates an undefined situation. Negative 5 is actually extraneous, and we're going to reject it. Because look at the first numerator, or denominator. If you replace x with negative 5 plus 5 is 0. You can't have a 0 in the denominator. So our only solution is 7. Now let's move on and try an inequality. The only difference between an inequality and an equation is when you have an inequality, you need to build a number line right away and fill that number line with what are called critical numbers. The first type of critical number is found by setting all denominators equal to 0. We only have one denominator, x plus 5. And when you set that equal to 0, you get negative 5. Put that on your number line. Also, you should make an equation and solve normally. So what I mean by that is we're going to change this to an equal sign and solve it just like we did the last question. Remember, we find the common denominator, which is x plus 5. We want the denominators to cancel, so we multiply everything by x plus 5. X plus 5's cancel, leaving me with x minus 3. Negative 6 distributes. Negative 6x minus 30. 3 distributes, leaving me with 3x plus 15. Let's combine this negative 3 and negative 30, negative 33, and x and negative 6x, which is negative 5x. On the right side, we still have 3x plus 15. Lucky for us, we don't have a quadratic, so we'll just, maybe I'll add 5x to both sides and subtract 15 from both sides. This is a regular equation you'd see in Algebra 1. Negative 48 equals 8x. And when you divide by 8, you get x equals negative 6. Keep in mind, this is not your final answer. We're trying to find critical numbers to place on the number line. We already set the denominator equal to 0. We got negative 5. Now we change it to an equation and found negative 6. Now to finish this off, what we've just done is we've created a number line that displays every number in the world, every value. We want to test these 3 sections and these 2 numbers to see which sections work. Basically what you're doing is you're finding all the values for x that you could plug in here, and it makes it true. So if I plug in negative 7, which is a value in this section, let's see what happens. Negative 7 minus 3 is negative 10. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. Minus 6, is that less than or equal to 3? Well, this is 5 minus 6 is negative 1, less than or equal to 3? Yes, so we shade that section in. What about negative 6? When you plug negative 6 in, you get negative 6 minus 3 over negative 6 plus 5 minus 6. Is that less than or equal to 3? Well, negative 9 over negative 1 is 9. 9 minus 6 is exactly 3. When there's an equal sign here, so we say yes. Now, when you pick a number between negative 6 and negative 5, like negative 5.5, and plug it in, just to make a long story short, that does not work. So this section is no. Negative 5 is actually an extraneous value. When you plug negative 5 in, it gives you a 0 in this denominator. So we're going to put an open circle here. And if you plug some number in out here like 0, that does work. So all of these values work. So this is a picture of your solution. Let's write out the final answer. So I think I'll write it down here. You could write it a couple of different ways. All x is less than or equal to negative 6, or, if you use the or symbol, x is greater than negative 5, or you could use interval notation, negative infinity to negative 6 with a square bracket, because we want to include negative 6, or square bracket negative 5 to infinity. So either of these 2 ways of writing it would display the solution. So give it a try, let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day, guys.